Welcome to the Ask Jordan podcast, answering your questions about selling on Amazon. Now, in his skivvies, because his wife wears the pants, from Long Island, New York, here's your host, Jordan Malik.
Hello, Amazon sellers. My name is Jordan Malik. I'm the host of the Ask Jordan podcast. This is our 73rd episode. Thank you so much for making me part of your day. I'm really appreciative of all of you, the amount of compliments that come in and your listenership. I think we've got well over 200,000 downloads to date, and we only started about a year ago. And on average, we're putting out about 1 to 3 podcasts per week on average. And I want to thank you so very much. I didn't realize that this would be such a hit that it is. And I'm eternally thankful because you guys make the show with your calls. You guys make the show exist. The fact that you listen so much. If it wasn't for that, it wasn't for you, the show wouldn't exist, and I'm extremely honored. Today's episode is sponsored by MyLocalInventory.com. My Local Inventory is the only service that scouts daily for local toys, new and used, for sale by homeowners in your city, and then sends only you an email comparing the toy for sale and the corresponding Amazon product and profit potential. Now, if you don't know already, there are huge profit margins to be made sourcing new and used toys locally and reselling them on Amazon, and My Local Inventory takes virtually all the legwork out of it for you for a price less than $1 a day. For more details and several success stories by Amazon sellers just like you, head over to MyLocalInventory.com. MyLocalInventory.com. Now, this is the podcast, if you're listening for the first time, welcome, where we only answer your questions about selling on Amazon. And every episode, we answer a different question from you, the listener, about selling on Amazon. If you missed an episode, that's all right. Go over to AskJordan.net. We have our most recent episodes there. There's an archives link for older episodes. You can listen to us on YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, Podbay. And if you want to hear your voice on an episode and get 7 of my best-selling ebooks 100% free, I'm going to tell you how to do that after we answer today's question. Today's question is from Robert, who's in South Florida. I'm always getting calls from people in Florida, and I'm jealous because it must be nice and warm down there. We're having a brutal winter here in the Northeast. Go ahead, Robert.
Hi, Jordan. This is Robert from South Florida. I'm wondering, as a larger seller on Amazon, both as a marketplace shipper and on our FBA side, at what point do you really get noticed by Amazon and possibly get some point of contact over there, rather than, if you have a problem or issue, just putting it through email and having it go through those levels? Recently, I had a problem that I was trying to get resolved the way I wanted it. I had to be very, very persistent on many email follow-ups. I was able to get the job done, but I'm just wondering about that because we're doing a significant amount of business, and of course the word significant is relative. But I'm just wondering at what point, or is there no point where you actually get, again, a point of contact, somebody you can get a hold of if need be on a major problem to get resolved, or a question or something that really affects the selling process? Thank you very much, and I really like the podcast.
Robert, I don't think that's a delicate question. That's a very good question. I'm going to give you some resources to help you. The general answer to that is money talks when it comes to Amazon. If you're doing a significant clip, I can imagine that Amazon is going to be more receptive to you, or they're going to be, maybe they assign somebody to you. But I haven't heard, I've talked with a lot of people, and I have not heard of anybody having a one-on-one relationship with anybody at Amazon, maybe aside from a salesperson who is assigned, who works for Amazon, who is assigned to help you expand internationally. So to go from, you're doing a good clip in the US and they want to encourage you to get your inventory over to the UK or what have you. So there's a few things you can do. One thing that I have heard works well is that if you submitted a support request or a help request to Amazon and you're getting kind of the bland runaround answers from the support rep, you can ask them to escalate it to a supervisor. So please escalate this to a supervisor. Would be the request. Now, have I personally done that? No, I have heard that works. That's one thing you can do. The other thing, this is a little bit of a stretch, but if you're a member of LinkedIn is kind of like Facebook for grown-ups, right? LinkedIn is the professional network of people that I think hundreds of millions of people belong to it. If you belong on LinkedIn, you're a professional networking with other professionals, and it's free to use. LinkedIn, LINKED.com. Get your LinkedIn profile set up properly. You can, by the way, you can see mine at linkedin.com/in/Jordan Malik. Or just go over to jordanmalik.com and you'll see the big button that says IN for LinkedIn. You can view my profile there. I'm not saying that to brag about my profile. I'm just saying if you want an example of a profile, you can do that. You don't have to make it as lengthy as mine. And the thing interesting when you've done that is you can then search for Amazon executives and try to get a connection to them. With just a click of a button, you can reach out. Some Amazon executives make themselves available to other people that are on LinkedIn when they have their own LinkedIn profile, and you can connect with somebody that way. I have done that for other companies when I tried to get ahead of the queue, right? As opposed to just being dumped in a support queue. I've used that method not for Amazon but for other companies to get a live human talking with me to help me out. So that is one method. Another way is that if you ever get a support rep contact you from Amazon, I got kind of pestered by somebody for wanting me to expand internationally, and I never responded. But it was a support rep around Christmas time that sent me 2 or 3 emails. He worked for Amazon. He worked in some kind of sales operation. And said, do you want, let's get you set up to sell internationally. And he was getting kind of a little bit very persistent. So when you have the opportunity, when you get an email from like a real human, take advantage of that. If you've got a current problem and reply to them, say, no, but can you help me with this? The last method I want to recommend to you is if your business is at this stage, it sounds like it is, where you can have a virtual assistant, hiring somebody. I have 4 or 5 virtual assistants that work for me on various parts of not just my Amazon business, but my other businesses. And they do a lot of the grunt work for me. And I don't mean that demeaning. They do a lot of the legwork assistant jobs for me that I don't have the time to do, setting up new customers, following up on billing, editing, do some of the HTML editing, etc. Consider hiring a virtual assistant who you can have that person be your contact person. You can actually set up a user profile for them within your Amazon seller account, giving them limited access to some things, and have them handle your emails to and from Amazon seller support, so you can kind of free yourself up and say to this person, every day, once a day, I want you to check with this support ticket and escalate it to a manager, etc. And Robert, I will put some links in the podcast notes. If you go over to AskJordan.net and see episode 73, you'll see some links there for some assistance in getting a virtual assistant. You can hire somebody from the Philippines to be your virtual assistant. I pay some as low as, I don't know, $250 a month, some as high as $500-600 a month, depending on their skill set. And everybody that doesn't know how virtual assistant works think that's slave labor. It's actually, if you're earning like $400 or more per month in the Philippines, you can live like a king. So those are my tips for you, Robert. So I hope that helps you. Now, Robert gets all 7 of my ebooks about selling on Amazon. Robert, just go over to AskJordan.net, click on the small envelope icon in the upper right-hand corner, and send me an email so you know where to send your ebooks to. And if you, the listener, want to submit a question to the podcast and have a chance to win all my best-selling ebooks just like Robert, call 516-619-ONLINE. That's an automated answering system, 516-619-6654. You can leave your question there, or go to AskJordan.net, scroll down, look for the directions on submitting your question. Hey, thanks so much for listening. This has been the Ask Jordan Podcast. I'll see you again in our next episode.